All right, everybody. The wild card round is upon us. The Rams head to Carolina for a rematch. LA, the 10.5 point road favorites on FanDuel Sportsbook. What? Plus a couple of best bets outside the Rams Panthers game. We've got a lot to talk about on the show. Welcome to Bleav in Rams, presented by FanDuel. Erin Coscarelli, my guy, Tyler Dragon of USA Today, and Gabb Goudy. She is a FanDuel expert in betting. You are going to help take us all to the promised land. But first and foremost, Gabb, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Oh my God. Thank you guys for having me on. I'm excited to talk a little NFC wildcard with you.
I mean, and there's a couple of NFC wildcard teams to discuss. Obviously, the Seahawks get a bye this week, but none more important than, of course, the Rams. And I think the first order of action is to talk about the 10.5 road favorites. I think one of the things that for me stands out, Tyler, I don't know if it stands out to you or not, 10.5 points, Gabb. That seems egregious considering, if you just want to say, this team did lose in that same building, whatever week it was, week 13, week 14, and now they come in as some pretty large favorites. How do you feel about that?
I do think 10.5 points is a lot for a road playoff game, especially going into someone else's house in a playoff game trying to get the job done. But like, again, the Los Angeles Rams, they've been there. They've been there, done that. And if we think about that game that they played in November, do you think Matthew Stafford is going to have 3 turnovers again? That was like a big part of the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Gabb. I do early predictions each week for USA Today, and when I first saw that 10-point point spread, I was shocked. I mean, you look at this Panthers team. Yes, they're the only sub 500 team in the postseason, and they're probably a year or two early, considering where you would expect them to be in that NFC South division. Wasn't very good this year, but they did beat the Rams at their house in week 13. Yes, Stafford had 3 uncharacteristic turnovers, but I mean, the defense calls those. That sack fumble, that defense made a play on that, and those 2 interceptions. So I would say if it were up to me, I would have probably projected maybe a 6-point favorite, 7-point favorite. For the Rams clearly, they're the most talented team. They will be the most talented team on the field, and you can make a case that they're the best team in the NFC. Just a month ago, we were talking about the Rams as the best team in the NFL. So I can see why fans and FanDuel has them at a 10-point favorite, but it's just a little high to me, considering the Panthers have already beat them. And you can bet Panthers players and coaches, they're using that as bulletin board material.
I don't even think the Rams like that they're that favored, to be honest. But what would you say, Gabb, in terms of, is this a good bet? Where would you fall in terms of how you would shake this out if you wanted to take a chance on it?
I don't want to sell the Panthers short. Like we saw a month ago, they did win this game, and I wouldn't sell the Panthers short in any capacity, because you get to the playoffs for a reason. They got there for a reason. Yeah. Bryce Young is coming into himself, but I just don't think that they're going to be able to keep up offensively with what the Rams are doing. Bryce Young to throw 3 touchdown passes again against the Rams, I just don't see that happening. So I think the Rams should be able to cover this. The only thing that I don't like is that it's in Carolina.
Right. And weather was an issue. I actually haven't checked the forecast, but it was a little bit wet. Rams don't necessarily love the cold. They don't love playing necessarily in the rain. And it just seemed like there was a bit of that we saw on tap when the Rams went to Carolina. But the other thing is, it just felt like it was a flat game. Carolina came out, and I will say, people thought it was a trap game. I said no. I actually find this to be a very respectable team. Bryce Young made some incredible plays. And then obviously the defense this week are getting back a couple of guys, Tyler, that they actually didn't have when the Rams first saw Carolina. Does that concern you when you know Matthew Stafford had 3 turnovers, a pick 6, he had a fumble, and now you're getting back some reinforcements on that Carolina secondary?
Well, first of all, I have to be honest with you, and let's face it, nobody from California likes the rain. And nobody from California likes the snow. First, we definitely can't drive in it, let alone play football in it.
I did just look up the weather if you guys are wondering what it is.
It's going to be decent, right?
70? It's going to be 70, but it's going to be a little rainy.
Oh, it is going to be rainy. Okay, well, I need to update my weather app. I didn't think it was going to be rainy. So the rain concerns me more than Carolina's reinforcements concern me. And I say that jokingly, but the Carolina's defense does concern me. They created those 3 turnovers, getting reinforcements back. And this was arguably Stafford's worst game as a Ram this season. So from talking to players in that facility yesterday, I feel like they're motivated to rebound from that loss, especially Stafford and those 3 turnovers. And the good thing for the Rams is they're entering this game on a high note. Stafford threw 4 touchdown passes against the Arizona Cardinals in Week 18. The Rams looked pretty good, especially in the second half. And when you look over the other side, the Panthers, they're coming off a loss. They had the definition of backing into the playoffs. They had to rely on the Atlanta Falcons, who played a day after, to get into the playoffs. So you have one team kind of going into the playoffs on a high note, getting their groove, and the other team just got into the playoffs with the luck of the draw because a 3-way tie and the formula just went their way in the Carolina Panthers. So, and to answer your question, I'm not too concerned about their defense. I do think the Rams, once they look at the film and see what they did wrong, they'll be able to fix those mistakes that they made in Carolina. And I think it's going to be a positive outcome for LA.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think you're right. This time they are not going to feel flat-footed in the sense of, I think a lot of the frustration from fans was they came off almost as though it was a trap game. They didn't really necessarily respect the NFC South. I'm not speaking for them. And I actually felt like that Carolina game, as I mentioned, that was a really good team. And I think this time they're prepared. Before we talk about MVP and Stafford, I did want to ask you, Gabb, how much do you take stock when you come up with numbers, best bets, value plays, all of those things? Do you evaluate the game that they played before? Do you look at those numbers? Because we can talk about, I think both of the Rams running backs saw the end zone. Obviously, you mentioned Bryce Young had 3 touchdowns. And I want to say, did Davante? I think Davante saw the end zone twice. Not once, but twice. So we're getting Davante back. Obviously, he's been injured. But how much of that, before we talk about maybe a Davante touchdown, how much do you look at the previous game? Does that impact it? Do you make an assessment, or is this like a clean slate?
No, yeah, I definitely look at the past game. I like to look at the past game and then maybe the last 5 more specifically to determine a lot of things from that. But definitely this past matchup, considering Bryce Young had such an outstanding performance. Not saying that he's not capable of that, but like what caused that to happen. And also the Carolina Panthers had over 160 yards rushing on the ground. Like, what are the Rams going to do to stop that as well? That's something to also consider, especially if it's going to be rainy.
Yeah. And they didn't really start fast this week against Arizona when we were there. And we saw, just kind of wondering, it took a couple of quarters for them to sort of get their footing. And then obviously Stafford just, 4 touchdowns later and 0 interceptions. NFC Offensive Player of the Week goes to Matthew Stafford. And obviously that performance against Arizona helped his MVP campaign. This question's for both of you, but Gabb, I'll throw this to you first. Did he help his MVP chances? And he is currently the favorite on FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah, I definitely think that game did help his MVP chances. And like you said, he is the favorite right now on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm a bit surprised that he is. I mean, I know Matthew Stafford is a veteran to this league. What he does year after year after year can't really be replicated that often. But I also think voters like to be nostalgic. And I feel like everyone's trying to go back to that Patriots dynasty. And I kind of this is out of bias. This is out of bias. Being a Cleveland sports fan, being the person that I am, seeing my team suffer for so long, I don't want to see the Patriots have the success. I just don't want to see it. But I'm just being a biased Cleveland sports fan.
So I'll say this. When you look at the two favorites, Matthew Stafford and Drake May, I think that what Drake May had going for him is Patriots, obviously, huge rebound season from worst to first in the AFC East. And yes, he's had a good year, lead the league in a passer rating and completion percentage, I believe. But the Patriots, they did not win the AFC outright number one seed. And so that's a knock, because when you look at his body of work statistically, his numbers aren't there with Stafford. Stafford led the league in touchdown passes and passing yards. And when you look at the eye test, to me, Stafford was the best quarterback for the best team for a large part of the season. The Patriots, they were hovering around the second best team, the third best team in the AFC. A lot of times throughout the season, we were talking about the Rams as the best team in NFL. Yes, they had some hiccups, but when you look at Stafford and that team, Davante Adams led the league in receiving the touchdowns. And I mentioned Stafford leading the league in two really specific high-profile categories in passing yards and touchdown passes. To me, that probably sets him over the top, considering that his team did not win the NFC's number one overall seed either. So they're both are coming from that standpoint. Yes, as a team, probably you can make the argument that the Patriots had the better season because they're the number 2 seed, regular season because they're the number 2 seed, but none of them won that number one overall seed. So that kind of was a deciding factor for me when you look at their overall bodies of work individually.
Yeah, great points, Tyler. And I think the interesting element for the MVP conversation is to find out what, for argument's sake, are they saying is the kind of the knock against both. And it could be the record, the win-loss record. But also, I think the thing that they're taxing Stafford is he has such great weapons around him. Of course, he's going to be a quarterback of such elite, talent this year. Whereas they say maybe Drake May, it just, do you feel like there's arguments that are unfair made against Stafford because of the coach he has, the wide receivers he has? I mean, is that fair to say that it's not his fault? The reason why Davante's crushing it is because he's got a quarterback who's crushing it alongside him.
That's a great question, and I agree with you. I do think it's unfair, and that's one of the reasons I thought Lamar Jackson should have been the MVP last year. When you look at his numbers, he had a historically great season, and his numbers were better than Josh Allen. But I Bleav he got knocked because, one, voters got tired of voting for Lamar Jackson, and then Lamar Jackson also had Hall of Fame caliber running back to hand off in with Derrick Henry. And the Ravens, you can make a case, even this year, you can make a case that they have the most talented team in the NFL on paper. So when you look at that, voters are like, Josh Allen is doing more with less. And his numbers, although they're not equivalent to Lamar's, they're slightly below, but he carried that team, and he doesn't have a superstar running back, a bona fide number one receiver, or two really good tight ends, and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews. So I do agree with what you're saying, and that could be a knock for Stafford. But Stafford did not have 2 MVPs before then coming in. And Drake May, yes, he's had a good season, but when you look at his body work, he didn't get that number one overall seed in the AFC East, in the AFC conference. And then you can make a case that the Patriots, they had a really good team around them too. as a team, collectively, they play very well in all three phases.
You could even go next to even say the Patriots' schedule could be something that's also holding Drake back, because they played like 2 teams over 500 over that stretch of games where they won all of those games in a row.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That could also be taken into consideration
when you look at Raiders too.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the you look at the AFC East compared to the NFC West, and you have 4 really good teams there, and then you have the New York Jets. Yeah.
And that's the part that's interesting. The NFC West is just such a tough division to be in, and to put up those numbers and to not win your division, to knock Stafford because of that. I guess it just depends on what you value, what's important to you. But again, great arguments made against the quarterback that I think the fans are taking into consideration that you have to talk about. We're going to talk about Davante Adams with you momentarily, Gabb. But before we do that, I do want to tell you guys about ZipRecruiter, okay? If you're hiring for your company, this is a very busy time of year for you, because you know what? You've got new 2026 goals. Finding the right people to accomplish them is no easy feat. Unfortunately, though, you have new hiring challenges for the year, like filling specialized roles or identifying qualified candidates from a huge pool of applicants. Tyler, that's not easy, right?
Yes, but thankfully, there is a place you can go to help conquer all those challenges and achieve your hiring goals, because ZipRecruiter is the place for you. And right now you can try it for free. ZipRecruiter.com/audio.
That's right. I love it. Yeah. ZipRecruiter's matching technology works better than any kind of matchmaker because it's fast to find top talent, so you don't waste any time or any money. You can find out right away how many job seekers are in your area and qualified for the role you're looking for. Always so helpful. Let ZipRecruiter help you find the best people for all of your roles. 4 out of 5 employers, by the way, who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So see for yourself. Go to this exclusive web address right now. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/audio. Again, that is ZipRecruiter.com/audio. ZipRecruiter, guys, it is the smartest way to hire. Period. The end. And I bet a lot of people wish they could have hired Davante Adams this offseason. Fortunately or unfortunately, LA Rams got the guy. I did want to talk to you about his touchdown production. I did check out FanDuel Sportsbook, and he is a -135 to score anytime a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off of an injury, though, makes that a dicey, unique situation. The guy is a red zone magnet. Gabb, how are you looking at this one?
Yeah, so I would rather take Davante Adams to score a touchdown than to go over his receiving yards. That number's at 54.5. It was earlier this morning. Coming off an injury like that, I don't know how often he's going to see the ball, but if he sees it, it's probably going to be as an end zone target.
Yeah. Pretty much, right? Tyler, he talked about that yesterday, right?
Puka can stretch the field and do all of that. I mean, he can score as well, but
I agree. And especially knowing that the way teams have played Davante over the course of the season, they've lined up their best cornerback against them. And I would not be surprised if J.C. Horn for the Panthers travels with Davante, and that's kind of freed up Puka Nacua a little bit. Yes, the defense is kind of shade an extra defender at Nacua, but he's been effective throughout the season in that. And then in the red zone, the Rams just seemingly, okay, Davante, you know how to create separation in confined areas, so we're going to give the ball to you. And I thought in his press conference, he just explained his just ability to get open in the red zone and all the nuances that comes with that, and having a rapport with your quarterback and being able to shift your body in different ways and contort your body to create that separation. It was a really good, just an explanation of his ability to get open in the end zone. So it would not be a surprise to me if he found the end zone. Like we just mentioned earlier, he had 2 touchdown receptions against the Panthers in week 13. And the Rams certainly know that when they get into the red area, it's either going to be hand the ball off to Blake Corum or Kyron Williams, or get the ball to Davante Adams, their touchdown maker on the outside. And so I think that's a good bet.
Yeah. They've certainly missed him. And one of the things that was so interesting, Gabb, when we were at practice yesterday and he took to the podium, this is a guy who has led the NFL in receiving touchdowns with 3 different franchises: the Raiders, the Packers, and the Rams. And it's like, how does he do it? And he talked about the fact he's so humble. He talked about just having good quarterbacks, but he also talked about body language and the communication that he has with the quarterbacks, which is so interesting because he didn't have Stafford during training camp, and he's taken some time off now to kind of get back into the swing of things with his hamstring injury. So it'll be really interesting to see how he does produce coming back after being out for a couple of weeks. And I know we need to wrap, but I do want to talk about a couple other best bets in the NFL that are going on this wild card weekend. Bears, we got some Bears stuff. We got some Bills stuff. Gabb, please, what's going on?
Yeah, so I am all in on the Chicago Bears. They were sorry guys, just gonna get it out of the way. I'm all in on the Chicago Bears. They were my preseason Super Bowl sleeper team.
Whoa.
They were. I know it was pretty bold.
The Midwest girl in you?
Yeah, that was a pretty bold call on my part, but I really like Ben Johnson. I like what he has done with Caleb Williams. I like what he's done with the Chicago Bears. I feel like they're really focused and playing well with Ben Johnson, and I think Caleb Williams is and will be one of the better quarterbacks in this league. So my favorite bet of the entire weekend is for Caleb Williams to, 1, go over his passing yards, and 2, for Caleb Williams to throw 2 touchdown passes in this game. In Caleb Williams' last 5 games, he's averaging over 240 passing yards. His line is set at 208. In his last 5 games, he's also thrown 2 touchdown passes in every single one of those games. And 2 of those games have been against the Green Bay Packers. So I'm going with Caleb Williams this weekend.
I almost want to bet you on that, but
I mean, you can. Yeah, you can. I'm going with Caleb Williams. I'm putting my faith in Caleb Williams, have all season. So got to go with it till I can't.
I mean, it's going to bother Tyler because he's a Bruin and I'm a Trojan. So I love me some Caleb Williams. I love rooting even for Sam Darnold because, these are former Trojans who I like to see do well. Sorry about Pete Carroll getting fired by the Raiders. Yeah. I know we were talking, Gabb, about John Harbaugh before Tyler jumped on. It's been a wild season in the NFL, to say the least. And okay, so do we have a Bills best bet? Are we feeling good about anything in that game?
I'm taking Bills money line straight up. I think Josh Allen is going to be the best football player on that field. And I think that is going to be enough to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know a lot of people are all in on the Jags right now. I like what the Jags are doing, but I think that Josh Allen is just better than everyone else out there.
Man, I could bet you on this too, Gabb.
I can't go. And this is what I've been saying this. I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks. I feel like this is Josh Allen's. I don't know if you guys are big NBA fans, but this is Josh Allen's 2019 Raptors moment. When LeBron left to the West and then the Raptors finally made it and won a finals. I feel like this is his moment to get to a Super Bowl. And if it's not now, I don't think it's going to be ever.
Wow.
So
got it. Listen, I can't let you both go without getting a prediction, since that's what Tyler wants to do.
I need predictions for all the games now because we're like. So we all got the Rams, right?
Yep, we do.
We have the Rams, but I do want to ask you this, Gabb. The over-under, I had it pulled up, and of course, I can't find it. I want to say, it's 46.5. Now, the last time they played, and you do take a look at previous scores, 31-28. So the Rams lost by, a field goal. How do you see this? Is it going to be a high-scoring game? Does the rain impact anything?
I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as the last game. I don't see the Panthers keeping up on offense.
Okay.
So,
wow. Okay, so the Panthers are losing. Period. The end.
Panthers are losing. It's going to be 24-10.
24-10. What's your score prediction, Erin?
24-10. I see it higher than that only because you're getting Davante back. I think this is a revenge game. I think they're going to put it to them. I'm going to say 30-24.
I got 27-20 Rams. Packers and Bears. I definitely have the Packers winning. Probably it's going to be a high-scoring game. I got about 33-30.
It should be a good one.
Who do you two have? I know Gabb, you have the Bears.
I'm taking the Bears.
I'm going with Caleb.
Taking the Bears.
Give me Caleb.
We're sorry that we had to do it to you.
Okay. Bills or Jags? Gabb, you got the Bills, right?
Yes.
I'm siding with Gabb on this. Gabb's right. Gabb is right.
And I think both teams are going to score. Like, I think both teams are going to be scoring, but I just have to go. I have to go with the Bills.
49ers or Eagles?
I'm scared. I don't want to say this one out loud.
The Eagles.
You'd rather it be the Eagles?
Well, no, I think the Eagles are going to win.
Okay. Well, I'm obviously I think I want the Niners to win, so I'm going to go ahead and say the Niners.
Yeah, I don't go with what I want. I go with.
I think this is going to be a really, really close game, and I think it's going to come down to someone fumbling or throwing an interception, and the other team is going to win. And I think that team is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Gabb and I finally agree on
there we go.
Okay, what about the Chargers and the Patriots?
Oh, see, I love Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert is a really great quarterback. I think the Patriots are a better team. But I don't know if the off-field stuff is going to be too much for them to overcome. But I think the Patriots might be okay. I don't see them going to a Super Bowl, but I do think they beat the Chargers.
Erin?
I gotta go with Harbaugh and Herbert, the Harbaugh Herbert team.
Erin, we agree. I got the Chargers in the upset. And last but not least, the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's easy. I find that to be an easy one. Gabb, please go first.
I'm going with the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Houston Texans. I think that defense is going to be too much for Aaron Rodgers. They barely made it into a playoff spot. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2017.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to win one now.
You never know with Aaron Rodgers.
You never know.
But
you never know.
You're picking Rodgers?
No, I'm saying, he can rally. No, I'm not picking Rodgers. And by the way, I also was not picking the Niners. I do feel like the Eagles are going to end up winning, unfortunately. But where are you at with this game, Tyler?
So I just updated my Super Bowl pick because of the playoff format and the playoff seeding. And I think the Houston Texans are going to represent the AFC.
Wow.
In the Super Bowl.
Wow. Defense wins championships, they say.
I won't tell you my NFC pick because
what you're saying is you're probably picking the Seahawks?
I won't say it yet,
okay,
but I mean, you can go on usatoday.com and see it.
So two defensive teams that we don't know the names of will be playing in the Super Bowl. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're picking up what you're putting down, Tyler.
Okay.
You're not getting one past us on this show. Gabb Goudy, so much fun to chat with you. Thank you for hanging out with us and talking a little FanDuel action. How can people find out more about you? Where can they go to find you?
You guys can see me all over FanDuel's regular social pages, FanDuel Sportsbook page. And then if you want to go to mine, it's at Gabb Goudy, GABBGOUDY on every single social media platform. It is the same, so you can't mess it up. That's where you can find me.
Gabb,
I'm going to add both of you once the teams win.
When Caleb Williams is scoring multiple touchdowns, remember this moment. And if he doesn't, this never happened.
Yeah, exactly. Gabb, we're going to need to get you back on the show like ASAP.
Sure.
Hopefully, the Rams can redeem themselves after a tough, was it week 13, 14 against Carolina. In Carolina, they're going to 10.5-point favorite on FanDuel Sportsbook. So it should be an interesting week for all these teams in the wild card weekend. But that's a wrap for us. Thanks, guys, for listening. Erin Coscarelli, Gabb Goudy, Tyler Dragon, we're out.